Welcome back, Blue Raider Nation, to another Blue Raider Breakdown post-game show. This time I have Jahvin Carter here with me after they just beat Cumberland 74-58, and you had 20 points yourself, a career high. What do you think was clicking for you, and how do you just continue to thrive on the court?
I just think we have a lot of unselfish guys. We have a lot of people that draw attention, so it's like I get a lot of open shots. Like having Tori and Kamari and just Sean and all those guys on the court, they bring so much attention. So they make the right play. I get open shots at times a lot.
The first half was a little slow for you all, but you came out in the second half and made sure to drill some shots. But what do you think is the biggest takeaway from you guys as you head to Houston here in a couple weeks?
I just feel like we have to play at our standard, continue to be us. I feel like the first half, respect to Cumberland, they are a great team, but we weren't being ourselves. We were being lackadaisical and weren't defending how we defend. So second half we came in, coach got on us, we got on each other, and we just got back to being who we are.
Coach talked a lot about it's all about attitude and effort. How do you make sure that you collectively are doing that as a whole, again, whenever you go to Texas?
Just coming in day by day, ready to work. We have a group of guys that like being around each other. It's like no really bad attitudes or anything. So just coming in when we get back from break, ready to work, taking it day by day, and just getting ready for Houston.
You are 1-0 in conference play after the 1-point win against Kennesaw State on Wednesday. After that game, you all, coming off of a high, what were you really trying to make sure that you're going to do in Houston to make sure that you just hit on all cylinders?
Just give Houston a fight. Like I said, come in and be us. Houston's a great team. We all know that. But we have to come in and battle with them. I feel like we played Michigan and we showed we could battle with them. Michigan's the same caliber team as Houston, so I feel like we just come and be us, be physical, be tough, be together, and we can have a shot.
Last question for you. As an individual player, what are you trying to do to make sure that you are performing at your best level?
Just being a leader and being more of a leader. I feel like coaches have been on me about being that, and I need to be that. And just doing whatever it takes for us to win. Whether that's tonight I don't need to score as much because everybody else is scoring, or that's going in and rebounding, or that's whoever I'm guarding, shutting them down. Just taking care of those things and doing whatever it takes to win.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jahvin.
Thank you for having me.
We next have Associate Head Coach Wes Long on with us for our Blue Raider Breakdown postgame show.
Thank you.
And I now have Associate Head Coach Wes Long here with us after they just defeated Cumberland. Another win, 2 wins in the past week, especially against Kennesaw State a couple days ago. But, Coach, for you, what do you think Cumberland posed the biggest threat, especially in the first half?
Yeah, it's a tough game schedule-wise. You mentioned it. You come off of a conference win. You know those are important. Our guys played well. They gutted it out, start the league play, although early, 1-0. It's really good. And then, Jahvin said it a minute ago, there's a marquee game on your schedule right after the break, and then you sandwich Cumberland in between those two. He said respect to Cumberland. We have great respect for a team like that. But there's also the reality that we just played Kennesaw. We're about to play one of the top programs in the country here in a week. And we've got Cumberland, who is a non-Division I team. And so as a coach, those are the obviously so sleepless nights that you can have. And I hope our guys are ready. I hope our guys are mentally engaged in what we're doing. Everybody has flights and drives and shopping and all that today after this. And it's not Houston. And so you worry about what's their mental engagement. And it leads to first halves like you saw today where they played well, and we didn't force them to adjust to us, and we didn't press the point on them. And so all of a sudden you walk in the locker room and you're down 5 to an NAIA team because they are talented kids. They are talented players, and you don't like to get down 5 before you realize that, but that's what happened.
What was the conversation like in the locker room after the first half, if you don't mind me asking?
No,
for you all to kind of, flip the switch like we keep saying, what we were mentioning in the press conference too.
Yeah, that's a great question. I thought Coach did a great job in the pregame of sounding the alarm, of warning. You always do that this time of year against these type of opponents. He did a really nice job giving them the respect that they deserved and letting our guys know that the game would have to look a certain way for it to go the way that we all envision. And so there was some emphatic but well-said reiteration of that at halftime. It did not go the way, we say we want this game to go one way. It's going to take this effort well, that's not the effort that we had in the first half. And so the game's not going like you think it is. And we talked pretty, forwardly about this doesn't need to be a situation where with 6 minutes to go, it's a 2-point game, because we still haven't woken up out of that lack of focus. So his pregame warning was good, and the halftime talk was really good about what Jahvin said. We have to go out there and be us. And if we're us, it'll look unlike anything that they've played against so far. But right now, you guys don't look different than who they play on their schedule. In fact, they came in here probably a little bit wide-eyed to see what's it going to be like playing against this mid-major Division I opponent. And they're probably in their locker room right now at halftime thinking, we got this.
Yeah,
and they should have thought that.
Yeah. Well, also you got to think about, coming off the bench, some guys, Jared Hall, Marcus Whitlock, they made an immediate impact as well. What were you seeing from those guys that they were just really trying to help out in any way that they can?
Yeah, it's super important to good teams. Good teams have guys who are ready, even when they're not sure when their numbers are going to get called, even when they don't know day to day how many minutes or touches or whatever they're going to get in the game. It's a tough spot to be as a player. It's a lot easier to have a normal expectation of a sub rotation, but there's always 2 or 3 guys on every team that are in that space of not knowing what the team is going to need when they're going to need it, and having a readiness to do that. I thought Jared was terrific today. Our first 2 post guys weren't very good in the first half, and so let's give Jared a crack at it. He's a super talented kid that's kind of had a rough stretch here of not getting to play as much as I know he would hope, but he's come with a good attitude, and we thought he was ready to play today. He had great screen early in offense that created a layup for a teammate. That trio of post players, Chris, Luca, and Jared, sadly had 1 rebound at halftime. It was Jared's, but it was an offensive one that created an extra chance and a score for us. So, yeah, without Jared's play in the first half, we may have been down more than 5 at half. We could have been down 8-10. He made some really good plays and played with energy. We needed it then. And then Marcus, we were trying to get him into that rotation, trying to get him up to this level. There's always an adjustment coming from junior college, and so just getting his feet wet. One bad thing about today's game is we were hoping to create some separation in the score that would have allowed him to play longer. But Logan and I talked during a timeout that offensively he looked comfortable in the first half and he played with some energy. So even though it was only 4 or 5 minutes, that's big for him moving forward. Get those feet wet so we can hopefully get him into the rotation moving forward into the new year.
Looking at guys like Tori Alston with 19 points, then also Jaw, who we just spoke with, career high of 20 points. What are you seeing out of their play that just makes them more of a player that you can lean on and look to, even leadership-wise?
Yeah, it's another great question. One thing that's changed in this kind of modern day of college basketball is you have new rosters every year. A large portion of your roster is new. And so the old way was grow guys into leaders and leadership roles and a larger role on the floor over time, kind of like Trey Green, but Trey Green is the exception now. And so you've got new guys, and the truth on the calendar is that Jahvin is just a true sophomore and Tori is a redshirt sophomore. So 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, you don't look at those guys as needing to be leaders on the floor necessarily. And even though we have some older guys, we don't have guys who are any more experienced in large part than those 2, especially not with this team. So they're talented. They're both talented young players. Ceilings are high. There's a lot more growth, but especially in a game the way that one was going today, you go to them and say, "Hey, you've got to step forward right now. Ja, you got to score the ball and run the team." I told Tori during a timeout, you need to get every rebound. Until your teammates start rebounding with you, you've got to get every rebound. You can't say that to a 6'2" guy who can't jump, but Tori's obviously not that. And so he did a really nice job, especially early in the second half, of getting us second chances and playing around the rim with some physicality. But they're both really talented kids moving forward that they have to play that way while our other guys grow.
Last question. We continue to talk about it at the Houston game. They're going to be showing one of the most top-notch physicality that you've been up against. How do you prepare this team, especially coming off of Christmas or things like that, just to make sure that they're in it and they're in it to win it?
Yeah, I surely think it'll be easier to prepare for them than Cumberland, and that may sound crazy to some people, but those types of games have our guys' attention because they want to prove that I belong
Yeah.
on that setting too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we went to Michigan and had a great first half. We really competed hard. They overwhelmed us some with size in the second half. I know from having been in this and watched Coach Sampson's teams and just having coached now for a long time, just like Coach McDevitt and our other staff members, that Houston brings a different level of effort and physical toughness than what we usually see. And that is the utmost compliment to them and not a shot at anybody else we play.
Yeah.
I think most college basketball coaches, maybe unanimously, if you said who's the toughest team in the country, they would answer Houston.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to open our guys' eyes. Already has. Our guys know that, so there's an expectation in their preparation. I don't think we'll have any issue getting them excited to play that game.
Yeah.
And, that's good. Regardless of the result, if we have good segments, bad segments, upset them, however that goes, playing that type of competition can only help your team grow.
All right, well, thank you so much, Coach, for your time. They will be on the road to Houston December 29th, and they'll be back here at the Murphy Center January 2nd and January 4th, so make sure that you're here as we continue conference play. But as always, let's go Blue.